Hello, my crafty friends. It's Sharon Luska here from My Crafty Greetings. I have one of these pages from this Stamperia pad that I love so much. And of course, there's only one, and it's somewhat simple to use the beautiful images, but stuff like this, what do we do? And I actually had done this card that I'm about to show you as part of a craft roulette video. In the drop-down box, I'll link which video it actually was. But anyways, I just wanted to show you what you can do where someone has already collaged together all the little bits and pieces on the paper that you may want to use for your card, and what you can do to make those bits and pieces grow into something that is a little bit more spectacular when they already are, which of course Stamperia is very spectacular. So this is a 7-inch sheet, and it is, I think, probably about 4.5 inches wide. It's a little bit shy of being the full width of a 5x7 card, but we're going to add some things in here that make it really unique and interesting and special. And all we're doing is just cutting off some of the pieces here. So we're going to keep them in the same position. Now what I have here is 24-pound parchment paper. And I keep this in my stash. I just got it at the office supply store. You may be able to buy it single sheeted from some of the, if you're fortunate enough to have a local craft store, which many of us are becoming no longer that fortunate, they may stock this, or you might find somebody who can share you a bit online, or in your crafty friends groups. But anyways, I'm just taking, I rough edge tore these, and then I'm just taking a few of them and stacking them together to make this a little bit booklet style. So this is going to be the first thing. Now I have some of this crunchy ribbon, which I could do in pink, but I wanted to stick with kind of the earthy colors. So I'm going to use this green. It's actually wrapping paper. Now this is packing paper from Amazon, and you can make something similar to what I have just by using a little bit of craft paint and that paper. And then I'm also taking my fingernail and just roughing up the edges here to make it a little bit more special. So I also like to pinch those corners, and then a little tiny bit of black soot on my brush here just to make them look like they've been somewhat damaged and aged. And then I'm going to finger ruche this strip of paper that I have here. So by doing this, it's going to give it that rumpled kind of look. And yeah, I'm going a little bit more rumpled than what's there, but otherwise it gives it some great detail without a lot of extra bulk. And the same thing too with these little papers here with the torn edges, not a lot extra bulk. So there is a space here that is already on the paper where you can see that this image has been barred across, and we're just adding staples to it. And then one of the things I forgot we needed was a little bit of a base to get this all glued together on. So I'm just got a scrap piece of paper that's kicking around my probably floor. So do you guys ever do that? Yeah. Weird things come in cards from my house, let me tell you, and most of them always contain either a human hair from my head or a piece of dog hair. So anyways, we're going to get this just slotted back into place, and yes, it's going to overhang the edges, but that's going to be part of the charming attraction of this card, is that it has all these extra little doodads and textures and neat things going on that will make people say ooh and ah as they look at it. So on this particular piece here, we're going to add in an extra little piece at the bottom so that that adds a little bit of detail. And this is just one of the cut off strips from one of the other pages, basically scrap paper. And we're just going to tear the edge there. And then up the top here, this is a pack of Simon Says stamp mixed paper. There it is. And I'm just grabbing that paper bag. It's just a paper Notion bag, and I'm inking it up and going to give it a couple little squirts. And I'm also going to squirt this paper, and you can see I oopsied, but you know, sometimes oopsies are good things. It's a happy accident, right? Because when we put this back into place, it looks quite cool, doesn't it? So no worries, no harm, no foul. And that's one of the benefits of making one of these styles of cards. So I'm also going to rough up this little Notion piece that's going to be at the top, or this little ephemera piece that would be at the top. And I've given it some good texture. And then I'm taking some of that paper that I got off the Notions bag from Simon Says, and I'm going to tear that and put that in place of one of the little pieces of tape that is depicted there by that little tiny piece of whatever paper that is. And then we're also going to take another piece of this, and just to make it different, we're going to put a little Scotch tape or clear tape on it, and that's going to give it a little tiny bit of shine. And I'm putting that right over top of where I also inked it and crumpled it up, and we'll just tear off the extra, and then we're going to put that into place right underneath that one, and using that same kind of, you know, difference in lining it up so that you can see there's two different pieces of paper and tape and that they're not actually the same piece. Little bit of ATG on the back of that. And this stuff doesn't have to be perfect. That's part of the benefit of doing a card like this, is those little imperfections that you add to it actually give it more character and more charm. And again, just a little bit of ATG tape. Now, the reason I'm using ATG is it sticks better if you're going to be gluing on a shiny surface. And I find that sometimes if you're using liquid glue can cause some of this to rumple, which in itself can be a cool effect, but not what we're looking for at this particular moment. So I'm just getting this all situated back into place. While I'm doing that, how about you give me a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed for some of this coolness that I got going on. So we're going to get to this ruched wrapping paper here, and I'm putting a bunch of ATG down to make sure that it grabs in a lot of different places. It's also going to have the pieces over top holding on to it, but you can see we're just roughly going along the line of where they had that kind of ribbon image there. And then we can start getting some of our other pieces put back in place. This little snail here, I'm going to go ahead and pop it up with a little bit of homemade packing tape, foam tape. And you can see I got a little fold across the top there, and then I'm also going to take my fingernail and just give it a little bit of a roughing up. You know, every little bit that you do to this is just going to add texture and make it that much better. Now this one I've decided that I'm going to pop up too, but I'm also going to show you this sprig that I have here. It is a Scrappy Tales die that I have, thanks to Sabrina, the owner of Scrappy Tales. Came from this gorgeous Gazebo wraparound pop-up, and it's a great size. It's 3 inches by 4 inches. You can use a bit of it, some of it, all of it. This is an absolutely amazing die set. Check out this card. And like, I mean, she gives you so much with the die sets that she sells. There's just literally everything. So anyways, with a little bit of spray on, that's the right color. And then I'm going to get some homemade foam tape again. I'll try and make sure that I remember to link that below so that you can see how that's made with packing foam. And then I'm just putting a little bit of gold marker in here so that if somebody looks underneath that they see gold, not bright blue, because the bright blue doesn't quite go. But once we've got that situated, and of course you can see here's a little bit more of my happy accident that I'm trying to pick off. I'm not as fond of that little bit, but you know what? Let's see if it really is a bother by the time we get to the end of the card, and if it is, then we'll do something about it, and if not, we'll see. So I'm auditioning a few little bits and pieces here, and Sabrina also came out in the summertime with another die set that had these gorgeous, very realistic kind of status or baby's breath type of flower sprigs. And I'm going to glue those into place. You don't have to be too fussy. I use art glitter glue, and literally I squirt it underneath. Once it's dry, you can't tell it was there. But this is the Save the Date pocket die set. This little sucker here, which I was just pulling pieces off of, is 6 inches total length, and it is 4 inches by a generous 2.5 inches wide. You can do so much with just that little guy. And then of course there's all the other pieces that come with this die set, but you can see here, isn't that gorgeous? Check that out. That's a 5x7 card that covers the front of, and then it also has Save the Date, like if you want to do stuff for invitations or whatever. It's just gorgeous. Absolutely love it. So I'm adding a little bit more of that gold magic marker that I have and squishing my pieces into place. We're not quite done here. We're going to add some details. Now, a white gel pen just along the edge of this little snail here and a few little scribbles. You ever seen the videos by Vicky P. Papayano? She's amazing. You guys have to check her out if you don't know her. I'll see if I can link that as well, but she has been she's been many of my miserable days entertainment. So I've had a crummy day, I go and watch Vicky P's videos because they make me feel so good. She's just, wow, what a star. I'm also adding in just a very, very light sheer brown Tombow marker here, some extra detail to the flower and the bug. Okay, so just as a refresher, this is where we've come from and this is where we are now. This is the other fun thing. Get your snow markers out. I was trying to do this before Christmas so that I could say, get it now before they sell out, because they sell out every year. But I don't have my affiliate links working at the moment other than my Scrappy Tales ones. So if you got it, woohoo. And if you think of getting it or you want to be able to use it for more, grab one of these guys. Now you shake it up and then you're supposed to prime it, and look what I did. Like, seriously, does this happen to everybody? Is it just saved for me? No worries, I've got it on a piece of paper. I'm just gonna keep on dipping and dabbing and dipping and dabbing, and we are going to make this little baby's breath look like actual little baby's breath. You wait until you see this in action. It is the coolest stuff. I want to try and make some of this at home. I was wondering if I could mix a few little bits and bobs together to make some puffing paint myself. But this is the ultimate and cool stuff. And I think it's a lot of fun to have it on a card and give lots of extra kind of wowy detail. So I'm going to use up some more of that. Now this is the other thing too, the wedding add-on, wedding trifold add-on. Oh my gosh, I love this set. Look at that it made. Is that not cool? And that Thinking of You is actually from the Gazebo wraparound. Not that you guys need to see more stuff, but you know, even the little cutaway pieces are just gorgeous. And these came in the set too, which I will be using in future cards. So point being though, is we're gonna grab one of those little frames like the silver one there to add to this. So here's where we started and here's where we're at. And you can see that little frame and the happy birthday up there and all the details. Now I added some ribbon to the sides before I mounted this. I also, there's that chalk pencil that I added into the flower there for some extra detail. But I put ribbon around the edge of the card and on the opening edge of the card to give it lots of extra detail. There is so much dimension in this without it being too bulky. You can see there's the wraparound and what it looks like. Hopefully you found some great tips from this. There it was before I put the little bit of gold on the sides. You can decide if you like the little gold trim or not. But hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this gave you a few ideas, maybe a bit of inspiration. And if you think of it, hype me. I would love it. And hopefully I can be back on track to bringing you guys some more great videos. Happy New Year. Thanks. Bye.